Hello, in this video, we'll be talking about IAM roles. So what do we mean by IAM role in AWS? How do you define an IAM role? How do you attach it and use it? So in order to make a better understanding of IAM role, what we'll be doing is create an EC2 instance, have some resources in S3 bucket, and then allow the EC2 instance to interact with the S3 bucket using IAM role. So let's begin.
Shut up and sit down.
So what is an IAM role? An IAM role is an IAM identity provided by AWS, and it allows you to give certain set of permissions to anyone who needs it. And when we say anyone, that includes any resource in AWS, including the EC2 instances, S3, and so on. So what we'll do in this video is create an IAM role and use it for an EC2 instance. So for that, let's go to the console. So now I am in my AWS console. Let's begin. We need to do two things first. We'll be spinning up an EC2 instance and we'll be creating an S3 bucket. So let's go to EC2 and spin up an instance. You can go to instances and you can do launch instance. We will pick any instance here. It's not a preference. We just need some instance. Choose an instance type, micro, review and launch. You'll see that there is a security group attached, which is allowing me to SSH in this instance, and there is no IAM role on the instance, right? So let's launch this instance. And I have generated a key pair already. We'll be covering in different videos how do we generate an EC2 key pair, but for now I'll be using this key pair, which is already generated. So I launched the instance, and now the instance is up and running, right? We can go here and see that the instance is running up and all the details with the instance. Now let's create an S3 bucket. So when I go to the buckets and I have created, there are no buckets as such. So let's type S3 bucket for EC2 data. And then you can leave most of the other things as is and do create bucket. So this will create a bucket, S3 bucket for EC2 data. Now what we'll do is we'll try to log in this EC2 instance. And in order to log in, you would be needing this public IP. So let's switch back to our terminal and try to log in this EC2 instance. Let's do SSH. I would need my key pair in order to do that. So I'll be moving to downloads where I have stored my key pair. Let's do SSH/I and then my EC2, which is basically the key pair. And then I'll do EC2 user at the public IP. So this is a standard way of doing SSH in any machine. We have the public IP of the machine, and it allows traffic on port 22 for SSH, as we saw in the security groups. So this request should go through. And we see that we are able to establish a connection with that machine. So now if I do who am I, you will see that I am EC2 user. So I am inside that instance that we have just spun up. Now what do we want to do? We'll try to access S3 bucket content from within this, right? So let's try that out. So let's do AWS S3 ls, which will list all the buckets, S3 buckets on AWS, and see what we find. Now it says that unable to locate credentials, and you can configure credentials by running AWS configure, but we do not have credentials for S3 bucket, right? And this instance doesn't know how to communicate with S3. So this is a problem that we will try to solve using IAM role. Okay, so as we saw, we are not able to talk to S3 bucket. So let's go to the instance and see if we can fix it. If I go to the instance and I'll see if there is a role attached in security, and you'll see that there's no IAM role attached. So what I'll try to do is I'll see if I can attach it from here, and it gives me an option of modifying IAM role. So let me go there, and it says that there is you can attach role, but there is no IAM role. So let's go ahead and create a new IAM role. What I want is a complete access to S3 bucket. So I'll create a role for S3 bucket complete access. We go to create role. It is for EC2. So I'll pick the first one and just have a look at how many services you can actually use the role for. So once we have picked up EC2, let me go to the next step. And here you can again attach a policy. So this must be familiar, right? We have seen similar things from IAM. So Amazon S3 full access. This is something I'll attach, and no tags for now, review. And role name, I can give S3 access for EC2, and let's create a role. Have a look at the trusted entities. It is only trusted by EC2. So this role, which is S3, can only be assumed by the entities it's created for, right? So here in this case, it is only for EC2 Amazon AWS.com. So EC2 instances for Amazon. So we have this role now. So let me go back to the EC2 instance and attach role. So this role appears here now. We attach it, we save it. So the role is successfully attached. Now let's see, we are already logged in here. I am still an EC2 user. And now what happens if I try to do AWS SPLS? See, we are able to list the S3 buckets, and we can now interact with the S3 bucket. So that is what the video was about. Hope it was helpful and helped you understand some of the concepts around IAM role. How can you attach it to EC2 instance in order to communicate with some other AWS resource? There is a lot of things in IAM roles like service linked roles and other things that we'll be covering in the next videos. So stay tuned. Happy hacking. Bye.